I think we are ready to start. We have some people here. Very nice to see you all. It's 1 minute past 2 p.m., so I think we're ready to start. Welcome everyone to this digital coffee talk hosted by Intercult within the Theater in Palm project. And today we have the performance artist Tana Maneva with us, who will talk to you about her artistic method, the Ankoku Performance Language. And this will be the main focus, of course, of this webinar. But before I give the floor to you, Tana, I will just speak to the audience a bit about the project Theater in Palm and what it is. And I will go directly to the next slide. Theater in Palm, and I just realized that I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Karin Johansson. I work at Intercult, which is one of the partner organizations of Theater in Palm. And something that is very important today is to have some coffee, because this is a digital coffee talk. It's meant to be kind of informal and cozy. So I hope everyone has coffee or tea or something else that they like. So this is Theater in Palm. It's a project that's been going on now since 2022. It ends in 2025, so it's a 3-year project. It's the first ever Creative Europe platform project for performing arts. And the main target group is emerging artists, and the platform also aims at promoting international collaboration and exchange and resilience. And we are 12 partners in this big project, and one of them is Intercult and Sweden. And apart from helping individual emerging theater artists to navigate in their career, this project is also has also another objective, which is to support the European theater scene after the pandemic. And these are the partners, if you're interested in the different organizations that are a part of Theater in Palm. Turku University of Applied Science, Finland are the leading partners of this huge project, and you can also see the other organizations. But what is Theater in Palm, and what are the activities within this huge project? And there are many of them, and one of them are these digital coffee talks. So some of them are organized online, and the aim of the digital coffee talks are just to exchange in an informal way and to learn from each other. And it's also a way to explore different methods within performing arts that you might not get in contact with if you're just in your own sphere, in your own country. So some activities are digital, some of them are physical. We have already had some local activities here in Stockholm, and we're very happy for this collaboration with Teater Giljotin, which Tana is representing. So if you are interested in trying out this Ankoku Performance Language, you are most welcome to join our Theater Academy in Sweden. In August here in Stockholm, where you can try this method. We are also organizing residencies and festivals and workshops. So there's a lot of things to say about Theater in Palm. You can check out our website. But today we will talk about Tana and her work. So I will stop share my screen, and Tana, I will just let you do your thing. Welcome. And I think you are muted. So, hi.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Yeah. You hear me? Yeah, great, super. Yeah, I welcome everyone. I thank you for the opportunity to share my experience. It's always inspiring to share what you have learned, and also to learn perhaps something more. If somebody have questions or reflections, And yeah, thanks Intercult for the cooperation. It's inspiring, and I will do it like that. I will present first like how to say, overview with what is the character of the language, how it looks, and what are the characteristics. And I can talk about my tools a little bit, like what is this concept supported from, and then I can show in that little bit photo work, and perhaps if we have a time for some small video trailer from my YouTube channel, yeah, and if it is some reflections, yeah, happy to share.
I can also, sorry for interrupting, Tana. If people want to write something in the chat, like questions, you are welcome, and then we can take them later in the end. If something comes up, you can write it.
Absolutely. I just later close now this that you okay to make the screen. Yep. Is it? Yeah. Okay. And let's start then. I called my artistic language is Ankoku Performance Language. It was long time was marinated. I start from a dramatic theater, from a more drama theater, and I'm educated, to say little words about myself, also educated in Bulgaria, in Sofia, in the Theater Academy for Film and Theater Arts. Then I went through dance and movement. I graduated exactly the year when Perestroika came in Bulgaria. And before that, we didn't have so much alternative art, or no, we had a psychological theater, it was Stanislavski. And then we had a dance, and it was a dance or mime, we will call it. Also, mime was between dance and theater, but not so much other forms, and especially avant-garde forms. They were little taboo in Bulgaria. And after I graduated the Theater Academy, then it was possibility suddenly the same year to a new expression, a new languages. We were highly inspired. The borders were open. We can, like now, exchange very much ideas to see other people what are doing. And we create independent theater, me and my colleague director, was called Theater for a New Forms. And then we start working and traveling and meeting colleagues in Europe. And I, for first time, saw a language like that, more hybrid between different arts. And I was highly inspired. And that was my beginning of the journey with developing language. I took classes in Europe then with dance, different techniques, dance techniques. Then I finally found Buto, Japanese dance, Buto, which came later into my artistic, how you say, journey. And I was really highly inspired by that. I don't know how many people know about Buto and how many people have heard about. I hope, yeah, that somebody know a little bit, but I can tell some words also about Buto. And yeah, and that's kind of, it become hybrid, or how we say, hybrid between theater, text, movement, visual, also a lot working with projections or picture-wise, saying a story through picture or through image is very much symbol and metaphors, which also Buto brought very much the concept for that. And yeah, finally it appeared and it shaped itself as a Ankoku performance language. I had difficulty really long to say. You could label it a physical theater, but it was not pure physical theater because it has a characteristics which are not for the pure physical theater, especially the more from Buto what come. That's why I brought the word Ankoku into the name of the language. especially this Ankoku nature, where it comes to the like a trance-like focus. You become more into a different focus. It's really a trance meditative focus, and the body is meditative, and it needs really a process to build that body and that expression, and that make it stand out a little bit from the physical theater or from other forms. I don't claim that is something like, oh, never never discovered. No, opposite, they are very familiar tools inside. Just is how I compile my experience and marinate in Ankoku Performance Language. Yeah, it's Ankoku Performance Language because of this fundament where it step on with a trance-like focus. I call it transparent focus or meditative focus. It is changed the perception really from the daily mind or the rational mind to more abstract or intuitive mind, which I called night mind. With the time I separate, it was easier for me to separate the two focuses. One I call it daily mind, and another I call night mind. And the night mind is very much reflected by the word Ankoku, which means darkness, or is used to exactly to communicate that concept where the things are unrevealed yet, where the things are in our shadowy part yet, or in our psychologists will call it a subconscious. There are different words for that. And then you bring it on the light, really. And that is the whole language, to walk between, I call it night and day, or sky and earth. Like our earthy matter, I would say, okay, they're our daily matters. And the Buddha will call the sky, or more heavenly, or not earthy, let's say, or more translucent, and it is the night mind. What more about the language? I can say a little bit about the characteristics. Yeah, it extends beyond the words. Let's say it includes words and linear story narrative, but it goes beyond that. And it is what, let's say, start with characteristics, is a kind of language which is very, how I can call it, I call it heuristic, but it's a complicated work. It's immediate, it's direct response, it's very intuitive. It's not so much to tell a story, you manifest directly the story that the language allow, because you can manifest not only through words but through body, and that very much come from Buddha also, that you manifest the story, you don't imitate it, you don't fake it, but you become, and you have the tools to become that. And in that sense is very heuristic, very immediate language. Yeah, it brings the story in the body, and the whole body become an expression of the story. It tells a story not so much through words, but through metaphor and symbols, which, as I thought, include the words and the linear narrative. And the narrative become inner narrative, let's say. It's not so much outside story, but it's an inner journey, I call it. An inner journey, and that's very fundamental for the language. Another characteristic is based really on a journey where it has Jo Ha Q code, beginning, middle, end. And then when you create, you really start from the beginning without to know the end, and that's very exciting. As you have the tools, as you have the pattern, you can journey the images, the elements you perceive or collect through the creative process. Yeah, this, which I thought it has a trance-like nature, sometimes looks very ritualistic even. People will share that. I think it comes very much from Buddha. It has completely another linguistics, like a traditional theater, which I already taught. it amplifies very much its own elements, let's say its symbols and metaphors, what it communicates. It amplifies everything is very significant in the story. I think that's also a characteristic of that language. A gesture is not by accident. Whatever gesture you do, it is a conscious gesture. You use it to deliver a story. It's an amplified gesture. It's an amplified word or sound or emotion and that's make it kind of transgressive, I would call it. It transgress the normal elements like gesture, movement, text, even the communication with architecture. It transgressive, it amplified, it break it to very much, it break it symbols and elements through fragments and open a space between that fragments, and that space between for me is very fundamental because that is the space where the process start is not result oriented, but is present, is the concept for journey, is not linear. And then if you, let's say, give you example, you have a word or you have that element coming from the table to the refrigerator, whatever. And that space, normally in a narrative, you're result oriented. You go from a point A, the table, to the point B, the refrigerator. And that's a linear intention narrative. But here the essential is the space between the table and the refrigerator. How you go there? What is now the quality you pick, and how you interact, you engage in a relationship, and then you avoid this linear approach. Another characteristic is a time investment in that language. It's not easy at all. It's a language which requires a considerable amount of time and patience to master it, because it's highly improvisational, because it has a lot of freedom inside. And if you don't have the tools, and if one is not prepared, it is a challenge. It failed, how you say, it failed really. It is not that language anymore. It can be linear. It lose, absolutely, it lose its complexity. That is also important. I will now say about the two pillars of that language. Is very complex, of course, but I have two pillars. With the time, I separate them, or two legs, let's say. One is for my daily mind, another is for night mind. When I was working first with my buddies, with the group in the beginning, you didn't need to explain. You know your tools, you improvise, you create. But when I start teaching and directing, it was very necessary really to find all of this rich, complex universe with all like movement, image, bouton, text, theater, music, sound, transgression. It was necessary really to put it and to start to see what elements repeat, how it identify what is the alphabet of this complexity. And then it comes this, they are really clear tools which I become aware, okay, I really rely on that tools, and they become a fundament for that Ankoku expression. One is so-called for the daily mind, so-called technique viewpoints. I can tell some words about viewpoints. I don't know if some people have heard about. It's a very powerful concept, very simple, about how we connect through physical, through the space and story. And the next is Buto sub-body technique, especially, which I study with a Japanese master. And Buto is also very, very vast, complex concept and philosophy or aesthetic, and they are different styles developed, let's say. What I had been introduced from my master, it was called sub-body Bhutan language, and it's exactly connected to the subconscious, so-called abstract mind, how you learn how to give a body to that subconscious, how to give a body to your imagination, how to manifest your inner world, and through that sub body technique. Yeah, these are the two legs, the Buddha and the viewpoints. I can walk you shortly through the concepts. Viewpoints is a theory, is a postmodern method which appear it should be 70s, 1970s. It start to become as a concept. Is a method for understanding, exploring the elements of movement. And there are, of course, another theories of an analysis, movement analysis, but that's viewpoints stand out. Viewpoints help to construct narratives from harnessing power of the movement. And that's very essential here for that physical body, physical theater part. The theory was initially conceived during experimental art scene during the 70s, exactly as I say. A pioneer she is a woman called Anne Bogart. She had defined the 6 base viewpoints after they were developed to 9, and they were enriched from another choreographers or directors. You can break down to a sub viewpoints. I also create my own 2 viewpoints, but I will introduce you to the 9 major physical viewpoints finally, which are very much used today. And they are like following spatial relationship, and that's what we'll call how far bodies and props and architecture are from each other, how you relate to the space and to the, I forgot I have a coffee, and I will relate to my coffee now through spatial relationship.
Very good.
And if I don't be linear, I will take a long time to put my cap down. Yeah. Okay. Oh, great. And then the next is the kinesthetic response, which is also extremely important, is the glue here, which is the response which we respond, the bodies respond intuitively to each other, let's say, very simple. We always respond to each other. Viewpoints just become conscious about that and use it as a tool. You can respond to somebody cough or somebody move or somebody whatever. We have a lot, we share a lot that body language of resonation, let's call it. Another word can be resonation for kinesthetic response. Then it comes a shape, the way that the body appears in a space, that is the shape, the contour, the outside contour of the body, very simple. Then you have the gestures. You can have a daily gestures or more dramatic psychological gestures, let's say, minor and major gestures. Then you have, of course, the architecture in the room, another viewpoint, which is the how many I taught, the 6 viewpoint, architecture of your own body and architecture of your story, the room where you are or outside architecture, depend where you create through resonation your story. Then you have the tempo rhythm, which is your own tempo, of course, and you sink into the tempo which is around you. And here you have duration, which is the length of a movement or a gesture. And in that, the ninth point of view is floor patterns or topography. If you want to use for choreography or whatever element, you become aware you can use the way you move on the floor and the patterns and combining with rhythm resonation. And all these elements here, you integrate or improvise through them, with them through the resonation, kinesthetic response with one viewpoint to another viewpoint, from one body to another body. Is extremely playful process, very highly creative. Is yeah, of course you can include voice and sound. That is the viewpoints I develop and work with. Yeah, and what more to say, one more sentence about the viewpoint technique I work with. I think it has a lot of benefits. It of course emphasizes the importance of the physical, and an actor become aware where you are. I as a dramatic actor, when I study, we were not teach so much. We were teach fragmentar. We had a stage movement which was a separate subject, and we didn't use it so much when we create a story in the theater. We were trained to move our bodies or to do exercises or to do ballet or dances, but they were kind of fragmented. And here, with the viewpoint concept, you literally use it. You know where you are, you know what are your tools, you know the room, you know your body, what signals send, you know other bodies in collaboration. Is very clear, and suddenly you can use all of these elements and be very playful. Yeah, also helps very much to connect to the immediate instincts, as I say, that you don't think too much, you relax, you really don't need to think. When you know your alphabet, you can relax and you can be only playful, very liberative, and be immediately instinctually to connect to other bodies or to your inner impulses, not to censor them, but immediately deliver them. And yeah, and on the last, I will say, is a plus and minus of that technique. It is foster collaboration very much, but it not very much focus on the individual expression. And here I see that as an actor, you have a theater of the actor and you have a theater of the group, you know, and that's more oriented towards the collaboration. The co-body is not that it doesn't have a space for individual, it have, but one need to come perhaps from theater and know the process. And if you come from dance, then yeah. And then that is, and I go to Bhutto. I don't know what time it is. Yeah, we're on time.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, great. And then let's say some words for Bhutto in the same light, like for viewpoints. Bhutto is a Japanese avant-garde dance. It appeared during the 50s in Japan, after the Second World War, and is very much a reaction, actually, a reaction towards after war, the whole Western aesthetic, especially I will say at that time, a lot of American dance aesthetics start to overflood Japan at that time, and all of the values from the West. And analytics of that movement will say that definitely was a reaction against the Westernization of Japan, against the centralization, very much more provincial and rural areas become empty. People were forced towards the city, a little bit how happened in my country, Bulgaria, after the socialism communistic regime came. Was sorry, I don't want to compare regimes and things, but it was same suddenly the province become very empty. Everything was very centralized. They will say Japan was almost converted to numbers, the people, and then avant-garde artists start to pull back very much towards the earth, towards the tradition, towards the slower process. That way came Ankoku concept, as say we have too much light, too much talk. Everything is so visible. The electricity came, and I say we lose our concept for night. The old night was translucent, was never completely dark. It will say, and you need also to pay. How you say? I don't know. My English is not my native language, and sometimes I lack words. But you can't verbalize everything. You need to leave a space for unspoken things and unseen and unshown things. And that was very much the process to defend that, the intimate, the one which is more translusive, which is not, which is inner, and which is not spoken, but you can feel it. You can psychologists, psychoanalytics will call that materia prima, things which are not cultivated yet, which are not have seen light yet, but that's an important material. And yeah, that was a reaction very much against that westernization. An initiator of that movement and the pioneer was Tatsumi Hijikata. He was born 1928 and died 1986. He was very central figure in that, generally in the 20th century, of the development of the arts and the avant-garde arts, extremely influenced by the European avant-garde, very much by Artaud, Genet, the concept of Artaud for the naked, not naked theater, but the theater of cruelty, and the negative affirmation and everything which provocative and destabilize the accepted. And the next to him, very responsible to shape and give a concept and words of that movement, was Yukio Mishima, who was a writer, poet, activist, famous figure in Japan at that time. Hijikata himself was not so much verbal person. He was very kinesthetic person. But he, the man with the words, who put the concept, who shaped the first Butoh was extremely chaotic, absolutely not stylized like the day you see Butoh, extremely aestheticized. It was very chaotic, very prima, materia prima, very expressive, very liberative. I think that was the aim of Hijikata, as he will share after, to liberate a creative nature, to liberate a smaller, a narrow concept for body, which is a body as a functional object, a body as we need to appear as a persona, accepted body in our concept. He wanted to challenge that, which I resonate very strong with, and is very essential for my language. It is not hierarchical structure of body, neither. The body is, all parts of the body are equal. Very much so, both of the tools, viewpoints and Butoh are not hierarchical. Both systems, I find it very inspiring, in the same time challenging, because we are very used to hierarchical way of thinking, even to accept the body hierarchical. Head, it is the head, then it is the hands, then it is another parts which are not so much in our, but we are more aware here. Even our bodies say that very much. With the time, the body, by using very functional gestures, we mechanize the body, and then it gets very much focused here. My Butoh master quote from the first day thought, Today, you come and you start your body education. I will journey you from here to the pelvis, to here, to move the center here. And that was a journey. We start from the head, and let's say from the daily mind. He didn't call it like that. And then you come and you sink deeper and connect with the night mind also. Yeah, as I said, for Hijikata, that was chaotic, very taboo-oriented language, very, very also essential for Buddha expression, oriented to break taboos, to provoke, sexual, violent nature, chaotic, irrational. I mean, that was really provocative. Everything forbidden, everything which is not very good to show. They wanted to show that. In that sense, also Buddha challenged at that time, I don't say now about the Western dance because now has so many forms of dance, but at that time, they would say the classical dance or ballet was to shape the body in its perfect appearance. And Buddha conquered that and say, no, its body can also appear crippled and flap all of the concept for beauty, to look for beauty in the ugliness and to look for ugliness in the beauty, or opposite, to look for good in the bad. So-called, we say that's bad, that black, to look there also for good or for light in a darkness, a small spot, or to look in the opposite, in the good, so-called, also for a cracks, also that it's never perfect condition. That Buddha opened the door for that. You don't need to be a perfect, you can be yourself. And that way Buddha opened the door. One of the Buddha pioneers, Kazuo Ono danced till very, very late age. His 90s, almost, even in his wheelchair, he was 101. He could dance with his hands, even that he couldn't move so much. Very, very beautiful to know that you can express yourself always in all conditions through movement and dance. Extremely empowering. Yeah, I will not go very much in detail with Buddha because it's not a Buddha talk, but yeah, if something more to say, I can say aesthetic of Buddha. I borrow that also from my language. It is also very much to to be performed with a white painted or gray painted body. Often men will shave their heads also. And it's, again, as they will say, that is a very complex, I don't know, is it a symbol or how to call that, appearance? It's not only one, it doesn't send only one message that I appear naked and white painted, or it is a complex message. It can stand for a tabula rasa, for the white screen, that you take out your characteristics of a small daily narrow persona like Tana Maneva, educated in Bulgaria, living in Sweden, and that give me a possibility to be something more and appear in a different expression. And also, of course, challenge of the aesthetic of we will not be proper dress, we will not be, but yeah, it is many different how to say, messages, and it's a complex image, this with a white aesthetic body, paint body. Also, the alignment of Buddha is absurd, sometimes very grotesque and provocative body movements as we talk. Often it brings expression outside in nature, on streets. That's very much also in the avant-garde spirit, like all of that bring the art out on streets and be part of the social life. Yeah. And then yeah, something more, I think we can leave it to questions. Yeah. Yeah, If
don't know if you
I will
want
say,
to...
I think it's enough. I can show some images from my work.
Yeah, exactly. It would be nice
because
to
we can talk a lot more, but
yeah.
it's a deep theme. It has a lot of layers.
Mm.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Yeah, if you want to show some examples, I think that would be...
I can show a Buddha pictures. I had cooperate with one Swedish Argentinian photographer, Jose Figueroa. We took some years ago that pictures, but that was inspired by this Buddha concept for essence, the presence, the how you call it in English, the essence of your presence, or yeah, and we took the word sahayo, which is which means essence, actually, literally, and we call it Sahayo project. And I can show you some photos of that. And then I will walk you through a little bit different from my shows, little photo from my last show. One of my last shows, actually, Strange Development, and show you some trailers.
Great. Now we see your thing. Perfect.
Now I will let a slideshow.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So this was with the photographer,
This is with
the essence of your presence.
Yeah, this is called the Sahayo project.
Mm. Wow.
They're a little bit, they move their place, the picture. Normally they should be under, but
Mm.
yeah, it finished.
Mm.
Oh, or yeah, that's a little more, sorry. Yeah.
So the white and the red colors are very
Much the white and red. Yeah, indeed. They use a lot the white and red. And I use a lot.
Mm. So where is this? Is this at Teater Giljotin or at
Teater Giljotin? We don't have any more that space, but it was in Teater Giljotin, yeah. And you can see the meditative nature, what I was talking about, the transparent focus.
Mm.
Or let's say that it's not a daily focus, it go more as like a symbol or metaphor for some condition or emotion or story.
So did he make like an exhibition of this?
Yeah, we made a, yeah. I hope it doesn't loop again. I lost a little bit track, but I think soon it will finish, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Sahayo project. Okay, how you close?
I think maybe you need, if you want to show something else, exactly, you need to stop.
Yeah.
And then.
Sorry.
So this is your performance lab team, right? This is like the team that you...
Yeah, that was Strange Development Code, the show with the performance laboratory. I have a group some years ago I gather and I work with that group. Okay, yeah. That is our first show, actually. It was. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. It was yeah, now it finished. And I can show you just few posters from my shows here. Anyway, I have the picture here. Okay. And that is a poster of Strange Development. That was a solo, that another Strange Development. And that is, they are just few. I don't, yeah. Yeah. But let's have a little 5 minutes, 6 minutes if you want to.
Absolutely. See here if there, I know someone posted a question in the chat. We'll just share my screen because I thought it would be nice for everyone to, because you are also having this Ankoku festival, right, Tana?
Yeah, we have Ankoku festival now coming from 16th of May till 21st of May.
Exactly.
And people which are in Stockholm are very welcome. It's dedicated to that language. It's a Ankoku limited edition. It's very small edition. We make it more really to share some colleagues internationally that language and try out the concept.
Exactly. So here on the screen, so to the right, there's a link to Teater Giljotin's website where you can find information about the festival.
Information about the festival, yeah.
Exactly. And in the middle, there's a link to Theater in Palm, to the website of Theater in Palm, and to the left you have Intercult, because you are also, Tana, giving a workshop on this theme in August. And the workshops will be released next week. So if you want to, now it was a lot of talking, but if you want to try it out, there will be a possibility in August as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone wrote in the chat, let me see. What is the most unconventional space you have worked in?
Oh, interesting. The most unconventional space, let's think about. The nuclear power reactor in Stockholm.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing. Yeah, we did a project there some years ago. And that was really a journey. Yeah. It's a magnificent space, extremely not like, you can't relate to that space so much. You need really to resonate and find a way. It was exciting, not easy, I would say, but very inspiring.
Let's see. Someone else who has a question, who wants to either raise their hand or just speak.
I don't see actually the people. I see just
no, you can't. No, I think you only see my screen, but I see the people.
Okay, great.
Maybe people are shy, because I was thinking. I'm just curious about, now you've been talking a lot about it, the theory, etc. Like usually a workshop about the Ankoku sub-body method or the language. How much talking is there in a traditional workshop, and how much, if you have like a one-day workshop, how is it structured?
It needs to start with talking, of course, introducing, naming the tools, the elements, the concept, and then it's just more practice. It's not a lot of talking at all. It's preferable to be silent, actually. And that's very essential. I forgot also to mention for my language. It's very much engaging listening. and resignation. It needs to empty really, to open the empty space, not talking, listening and connecting through another senses to the world which is around us. And that I would say, not so much talking, more listening.
Someone else wrote in the chat, is there any space where you would really like to perform?
Interesting.
Yeah,
it is. It is spaces, but it's not a concrete. Some concrete, more like how you say. I would like to try in a very rainy day in a water to create a piece. And yeah, that had been in my mind. I had never found the time, but I thought to use the qualia, not a concrete place. They are great spaces which inspire me, of course, but I would say more a finding an outside landscape with a very prominent qualia, but to say like quality, natural qualia, what will be a rain or water or a strong wind or or a very high place or a very deep hole or that kind of how you say, dynamic and expressive bodies of nature, because they're also bodies, and nature have a bodies. We just say wind or rain, or but in the language, Ankoku Performance Language, everything is a body you resonate with, and that's a powerful concept.
Interesting.
Yeah, you come in a relationship. It's a very old concept. It's very indigenous concept. You engage in a relationship with the world around you, with the nature. Everything is alive. And now science today, we think everything is just not alive, or how to say, nothing, or I don't know, dead. Yeah.
And then last question, how do you use the Ankoku Performance Language in your everyday life? I guess like outside of the stage, if you do.
Yeah.
How can you?
Yeah. It's very interesting question. I still strive for equilibrium. I still strive to find a way, and that's a very good question, to support that expression to be more bigger part of my daily life. Is very hard. I want to honestly share, it's very hard because of the result-oriented focus we have. And I think because I can compare even 20 years ago when I finished Theater Academy, before, with all my respect to digital tools, and they have a great plus. But before that time of media, of a lot of information, now is so result-oriented, so everything needs to be organized, planned. It's very much more complex life. And that is more difficult to come in a listening mood or process-oriented instead of result-oriented. And that way I opened the laboratory in Teater Giljotin, because to give a space where you can merge these two, daily and night mind, and find and open a space for that, more and more space. But yeah, I'm in a process integrating that language through artistic expression. Otherwise, I honestly share, it's difficult to integrate that language in a daily mind. Yeah. Perhaps 100 years ago or 200 years ago, if we were living in nature, could be a natural expression. But today, in an urban context, is more challenge.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. I think time is up. So if we don't have any more questions, I guess we can wrap it up. And as I said, you are most welcome to visit our website and Teater Giljotin, and there is information about Tana on our website as well. Yeah, see you at the festival next week, or like this week.
Yeah, yeah, this week. Thank you everyone for joining the meeting. I really would like more we could talk and hear more reflections, but in the future maybe.
Yeah.
I hope that you can use and get inspired from what I share with you with the language, with the process, with the artistic expression. And good luck to everyone. And thank you, Karin, very much for inviting me for that talk, for sharing. Also, we had been with you. You follow little now my language, and that's also very exciting.
Yeah.
And keep in touch.
We will keep in touch and enjoy the rest of your sunny day. At least it's
Yeah,
sunny.
it is. Yeah. Thank you. You too.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.